Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how much we love TikTok here, right? Well, get this. We just took a deep dive into a recent episode of TikTok Talk today, and let me tell you, it really sparked some ideas about upping our game and becoming more active in the TikTok world.
Oh, yeah, those TikTok Talk Today folks, they always bring the good stuff.
For sure. And this episode really got me thinking about how we can all level up our engagement. It's more than just scrolling and watching, right?
Totally. It's about being part of that amazing community.
Exactly. So let's get into it. What were some of the big takeaways that stood out to you?
Well, the host kept coming back to this idea of community, and it really resonated with me.
Like how each little interaction we have, it all adds up to something bigger, right?
Exactly. It's like we're all contributing to this giant, ever-evolving tapestry of content and
I
connections.
love that analogy.
Mm.
So let's break down some of those individual actions, starting with the simple act of liking a video. I mean, we all do it, right? Just a quick tap of that heart icon, but what's the real impact of that?
It's funny because it seems so small, but actually feeds into TikTok's algorithm, which helps surface content to other users.
So we're actually helping those videos get seen by more people.
Yep. You're essentially giving a little boost to the creators you enjoy, helping them reach a wider audience.
Wow, that's kind of cool to think about. And then there's commenting, which takes that engagement to a whole nother level, right?
Definitely. Commenting is where you can really spark those conversations, connect with creators, and, just add your voice to the mix.
Yeah, and the podcast hosts, they really emphasized keeping those comments respectful and engaging.
Yeah.
No negativity, right?
Exactly. It's all about fostering a positive and supportive environment.
Totally. So what are some good strategies for crafting comments that really stand out, in that sea of replies?
Well, they talked about the power of asking thoughtful questions, which I thought was really insightful.
Like, instead of just saying, great video,
Yeah.
you could ask something specific about the content, right?
Right. Like, let's say someone's doing a makeup tutorial. You could ask, what brand of eyeshadow are you using? Or what brush do you recommend for blending? Things like that.
That makes sense. It shows you're really paying attention and you're genuinely interested.
Exactly. And it encourages the creator to respond, which can spark a really cool back and forth dialogue.
It's like you're turning a one-way message into a real conversation.
Precisely. And those videos where people are sharing tips or tutorials, offering your own perspective or experience in the comments can be super valuable.
Oh yeah, like adding to the collective knowledge base.
Exactly. Let's say someone's demonstrating a cool cooking technique. You could chime in with, I tried this and it worked great. I also found that adding a pinch of, you're sharing your own insights and helping others learn.
I love that. It's like we're all building the shared knowledge base together.
Right. And it brings us back to that idea of community.
It's amazing how these seemingly small actions can have such a ripple effect.
It really is. And speaking of ripple effects, let's talk about sharing, because that's another way we can amplify the content we love and introduce it to new audiences, right?
Totally. And TikTok Talk today highlighted just how many ways there are to share these days.
Oh, yeah. It's incredible. You can send it directly to friends through messaging apps, post it on other social media platforms. The options are practically endless.
I know. Sometimes I get overwhelmed by all the choices, but it's cool that we have that flexibility, right?
Absolutely. And each of those shares helps expand the reach of the content you love, potentially introducing it to people who might never have seen it otherwise.
It's like we're all little ambassadors spreading the TikTok love.
I love that. And it all goes back to that core idea of community, right?
Yeah.
We're not just passively consuming content. We're actively shaping the TikTok landscape, contributing to a more vibrant and interconnected experience for everyone.
I love that. But okay, let's dive back into those commenting strategies a bit more, because I'm always looking for ways to make my comments more engaging and, stand out in that sea of replies.
For sure. Well, aside from asking questions, the podcast hosts also talked about the power of, well, they said one really good way to stand out is by, offering your own perspective or experience in the comments.
Oh yeah, like adding your own little twist to the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, those videos where people are sharing tips or tutorials?
Hmm.
You could chime in and be like, hey, I tried this and it totally worked. I also found that adding a pinch of, build on what they're sharing.
Yeah, I get it. It's like you're adding to that shared pool of knowledge.
Right. And it kind of brings us back to that whole idea of community we were talking about.
It's like we're all in this together, learning from each other.
Totally. And another thing, thinking about the impact you can have by sharing videos that really resonate with you.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I find a video and I'm like, Everyone needs to see this.
Exactly. It's like you're curating content for your own network, introducing your friends to new creators and ideas that they might not have found otherwise.
It's funny because I used to think of sharing as just a way to show my friends something funny, you know? But it's actually so much more than that.
Oh, absolutely. It's about spreading knowledge, supporting those creators you love, and like you were saying, building those connections within our own little online communities.
It's pretty cool when you think about it. And the thing is, TikTok gives us so many different ways to share, right?
Right. Like you can totally tailor your approach depending on who you're sharing with and what platform you're using.
So it's not like a one-size-fits-all thing.
No, not at all. For example, let's say you're sharing with a close friend who's super into like cooking, right? You might just send them a direct message with a link to a video about a new recipe or something. But if you find a video that like raises awareness for an important cause, you might share it publicly on your other social media profiles to reach a wider audience.
That's a really good point. It's about being intentional with how we share, right?
Yeah, definitely. It all comes back to that central idea of community that we keep talking about. By liking, commenting, and sharing in a way that's, thoughtful, we're actively shaping the TikTok world.
Love that. Okay, so we've covered liking, commenting, and sharing. And it sounds like those actions, even though they seem small, they can really add up and have a big impact.
They really can.
But how do we go beyond those basics? I know the TikTok Talk Today hosts also mentioned stitching
Oh,
and
yeah.
duetting as ways to engage. Can you explain what those are?
Oh, yeah. Stitching and duetting, those are super fun ways to kind of like get creative and add your own spin to existing content.
Yeah, those sound really cool, actually. I haven't really tried them out that much.
Uh-huh.
Can you give us like a quick rundown of how they work?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so imagine you find a video with like a catchy dance routine or something. With
Mm-hmm.
duetting, you can basically record yourself like dancing alongside the original video.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it creates the split screen effect, so you're kind of like jamming out together.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a super fun way to like show off your moves, collaborate with other creators, and just add to the overall energy of the video.
So it's like taking that collaborative aspect to a whole new level.
Exactly. And then stitching is kind of similar, but it's more about adding your own thoughts and ideas to the mix?
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So like let's say you come across a video with like a thought-provoking question or statement that really resonates with you.
Okay.
You can use the stitch feature to kind of clip a segment of that video and then record your own response to it.
Oh, that's cool. So you're essentially building on what they've already put out there.
Exactly. It's a really neat way to kind of like add your unique perspective to the conversation and keep those ideas flowing.
It's like this ongoing dialogue.
Yes. And that's what I think makes TikTok so unique and engaging. It's this constant back and forth,
Yeah.
this collaborative evolution of creativity.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like by understanding all these different ways we can engage, we really have the power to, shape our own experience on the platform.
Totally. You're not just a passive consumer of content anymore. You're an active participant, a co-creator.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like we're all part of this big creative movement.
Exactly. And that actually leads to a really interesting question now that you have a deeper understanding of how to engage on TikTok. What kind of impact do you want to have?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like what conversations do you want to be a part of? What messages do you want to help amplify?
It's a really good question. It makes you realize you have so many options, right?
Yeah.
Like, do I want to use my voice to raise awareness for certain causes? Do I want to connect with people who share my passions? Or maybe just, spread a little bit of joy and laughter?
Right. The possibilities are endless. And the cool thing is, every interaction, no matter how big or small, it has the potential to make a difference.
It's pretty powerful when you think about it.
It really is. So, go out there and make your mark, engage authentically, connect with those awesome creators, and let your creativity shine.
Yeah. Who knows? You might even inspire someone else to do the same.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, I think that wraps up our deep dive for today.
Yeah, it's been an awesome conversation. Thanks for sharing all those insights with us today.
Of course, it's been a pleasure. And, as always, keep exploring and keep having fun out there on TikTok.
And we'll catch you all next time on The Deep Dive.